Good
And it's
morning.
Mhm.
It's Spirit Sessions, a view of the light, and we are happy to have you all with us today on this lovely Sunday, wherever you are in the world. Please like our page. Please share this out because today is World Forgiveness Day, and we brought you an expert in this field, Ron Schaefer, and he will help us work through those forgiveness questions we have with all the ones with the caveats on, but yeah, we can forgive this person. He's going to take us through the process of forgiveness and how it works. Please share this out. Check us out on YouTube if it's easier for you. And you can watch us anytime through your Chromecast, any of the past episodes. There's lots of healing work and lots of meditations in our past ones. And please subscribe and hit the little notification bell because it helps us out. Good morning, Lisa. And I guess I'm going to take it over to Bex, who first introduced us all to Ron through sharing out his work, but then asked him on the show. So take it away, Bex Marie.
Sure. So, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. And please excuse me while I gush for a moment, because let me tell you, Ron Schaefer has been such a powerful, amazing influence in my life, in my spiritual journey, in being able to awaken to my abilities and having confidence in myself. I first connected with Ron through Facebook years ago, watching him do live readings. And at that point, I was absolutely beyond intimidated at the idea of going live and doing readings for people, or even doing them at all. I hadn't been able to even begin to really explore what that meant to do readings, but watching him do it so effortlessly, so confidently, so comfortably, really gave me the strength to be able to step into my own power and start to offer that and really dive into it. And it was just absolutely amazing. And then connecting with him even more deeply, getting to know him a little bit better, and then having him on the show. It's been an incredible journey. And I call him one of my spirit guides in physical form, as I know he is for many other people. So we're so excited to have you back, Ron. I absolutely love you. And thank you for agreeing to come back. And can you please tell our audience a little bit about yourself and, kind of what you do?
Of course. Well, I am a miracle mindset coach. And basically, what that means is I help you to really dissolve all of those hidden beliefs, hidden ideas that you have about yourself. So that way you can really have the life that you deserve, the life that is meant for you. Because the thing here is we are meant to be happy. We are meant to be joyful. We are meant to have a life that works and flows. And it is just our mindsets. It's the energy and motion within us, because that's all thought really is that energy and motion. And so that creates the reality that we see. And so my job is to be of service to you and help you to really kind of bust through those barriers. And I use the spiritual principles of A Course in Miracles, as well as my own intuition. And I'm also a channel for the Palladians, as well as some other beings who will come through from time to time. So that's just a little bit about me.
Awesome. And you want to talk today about forgiveness, because today is World Forgiveness Day.
Yes,
So
yes.
I think we should just let you go, because at this point I know you've got it ready to go, and we're going to have to step aside and let spirit come through. So take it away.
All right. Well, what I really wanted to speak about when it comes to forgiveness is that there are 3 levels of forgiveness. Now, there is level 0, which if we really look at it, isn't a level,
Right.
excuse me, at all. But it's still something that's there. And level 0 of forgiveness is arrogance, which is, I'm so spiritual, or I'm such a better person than you that I'm going to forgive you so I can move on with my life. Well, that's not really forgiveness. That's just you saying, I'm bigger, I'm better, I'm more than you.
Right.
That's not forgiveness. So then we come down to level 1 of forgiveness. And level 1 of forgiveness is victimhood, which is, you're a terrible, awful person. You did a terrible, awful thing to me, and I'm going to forgive you. But I'm never going to let you forget what you did. Well, once again, that's not really forgiveness. And then what you've actually done is you've become a prisoner in your own mind. And how you've done that is because That's great. You've locked this person up in this little makeshift prison in your mind, and you're the one who has to constantly remind them what they did. So in essence, you're not the jailer anymore. Now you're a fellow prisoner because you constantly are reminding them of what they did. So you're not free and they're not free. So neither of you are free. So it's not real forgiveness.
Right.
Then there is level 2, which I will be very honest with you, I thought was like the best forgiveness, which was compassion. I see where you're coming from. You know, I was in a bad place. You were in a bad place. We were in a bad place. And so I'm going to forgive you so that, you know, we can move on with our lives. And I thought, wow, like that's forgiveness. Like that's got to be forgiveness. Actually, no, that's not. Then there comes true forgiveness, which is, in truth, you have done nothing wrong. And for a lot of people, they're like, excuse me? No, this person did something wrong. What are you talking about? That's why I have to forgive them. Well, what forgiveness actually is, if we break it all the way down, forgiveness is your ability to say that no matter what someone may have done to what you perceive they have done to you, that it never changed the essential essence of who you are. It never could. No matter what it is, it can't change the light in you. The light in you cannot be diminished. The light in you cannot be extinguished. The light in you cannot be dimmed. The light in you cannot be changed. No matter what happens to the physical form, no matter what happens emotionally, mentally, that inner spark of you can never change. And when we practice forgiveness, what we're really saying is, I forgive myself for believing that whatever happened outside of me could ever truly affect the truth of who I am. And that's all that we're really doing, because the way that I see the world is that the world is nothing more than a mirror. And it is a mirror for our own thoughts and beliefs. And I know when I say that, you may be saying, well, I didn't think of murder. I don't think of, trafficking children. I don't think of, I don't think of a pandemic. I didn't think of any of this. So what is it mirroring? But we have to remember that it is always mirroring back our belief. You can't see something if you don't believe that it is possible. It's not that you're consciously thinking about, murder and trafficking and COVID and pandemics. It's not that those are conscious thoughts, but they are things that you believe. You believe that they can happen. You believe that they are true. And so you're seeing them outside of yourself to give you the opportunity to say, do I really want to keep playing with this belief about pandemics? Do I want to continue to keep believing and playing with this belief about I'm just a body? Like, what do I want to continue to keep playing with in my beliefs? And that's really what forgiveness does, because forgiveness is the one illusion that creates no others. It is the end of all other illusions. And that is what is so beautiful about forgiveness, is that it helps us to really see that we can never be changed or altered, no matter what we see outside of ourselves, because what is outside of us is only a reflection of what we believe to be true. And so that's why I take forgiveness as a daily practice. If I see something outside of me that upsets me, instead of just letting that thought kind of come in and just take root, I question it. Okay, so if I hear something on the radio and it's really disturbing to me, I stop. I take that breath. I turn down the radio. And for me, you do not have to use these terms, of course. You can use, whatever you ascribe to your higher power. But I simply say, God did not create blank. Therefore, it is not real. I ask to see the truth instead of my dream about blank. The truth is, and then I can say, well, maybe I'm seeing my belief in vandalism, or I'm seeing my belief in a hierarchy. And then I can say, but you know what, Spirit, I am free of all limits. I am safe. I am healed. I am whole. I am happy. I am provided for in all ways. I am free to forgive. And here comes a really big one, and free to save the world. Why can I save the world? Because the world is coming from me. So I can save it by forgiving what I see that is disturbing me. So then we go and say, and once again, you can use angels, guides, God, Jesus, divine wisdom, whatever you use for your higher power. I simply say, Holy Spirit, please heal the part of my mind that believes in blank, whatever is disturbing my peace. I place this belief on the altar of love to be altered. Okay? Because whatever you put on the altar of love will be altered by love, because love brings up and dispels anything that is not like itself. And love is the only thing that's real. So when we're placing that belief on the altar and giving it over to the divine, giving it over to love, we're saying, love, here you go. Because I think a lot of times we believe it's all up to us to handle everything. We are not the healers. And we have to really recognize that it's not our job to heal ourselves. Our job is to invite the healing and then take whatever guided action steps we are given. And then we move forward. Instead of being like, well, no, it's all up to me. I got to handle it. We have a higher power that is willing and waiting to speak to us. But we have to engage with it, because it cannot take from you what you are not willing to give, because then that violates free will. Right. So if you could say, oh, take this from me, but if you still believe that it is a core aspect of you, then the divine can't take it from you, because you believe it's a core part of you. So in taking that away, you believe you will lose something, or you believe that a part of you will be lost. Well, then God can't take it away, because you still believe in it. You still believe it's a part of you and it needs to be there. So then we say, my goal is peace. And the reason that we say my goal is peace is because we're saying my agenda doesn't matter here. I don't need my agenda. My only goal is peace, and peace is all inclusive. Peace means everything. Then we can say, Holy Spirit, I thank you in advance that you will decide and judge about everything for me. Really key to have that. And then what you can say is, and I will let you. And the reason that we say that is because all too often we don't know what anything really means. We think that we do. We think we know. But in truth, we really don't. We are basing our perception of a situation or a person usually based on the past and what had happened. And so we see a situation that's very similar and we say, well, this is what happened then, so this is most likely what will happen now. We don't know that. So we have to let that higher power be willing to decide and judge this for us. Then we can say, Holy Spirit, I thank you in advance that you will undo all the consequences of my wrong decision about this blank, whatever that is. And I thank you in advance that you will teach me about the truth of who I am, or you will teach me that no one is ever a curse in my life, only a blessing, and I will let you. But you notice after each one of those things, judge for me, I will let you. Undo this for me, I will let you. Teach me, I will let you. You have to be willing to let the divine do it through you and for you, because it will. But we have to invite it. We have to allow it. And a good majority of the time, the reason that we don't is because we are actually afraid to admit what it is that we're seeing is actually coming from us, because we're afraid that then that makes us terrible, awful people. And it doesn't. Right. We've had a misperception. That's it.
Wow.
That's a lot to think about.
So good though. Like
I
got chills the whole time.
I'm just going to give you the. What happens if you've been a victim of a pedophile? And
exactly.
It's hard to forgive that, and you can't see that coming from you because you were a child. So can you break it down how you do that? How work that through for me?
All right. So if you are a victim in that sense, once again, we have to remember that the innocence that you believe that was taken from you is not inside your body. It never was. It never could be. So that belief that this person could take your innocence, because a good majority of the time, that is what we believe, that when we have been violated in that way, which it's not to say that it's okay, not by any stretch of the imagination, we acknowledge what happened and then we process what has happened, which means that we acknowledge that there is never, the body never contained the innocence that we feel that we lost. And what we begin to do is we forgive that person. And forgiving that person simply means that we say, what you did, no, that wasn't right. But I'm willing to look past what it is that you say, you know, in your mind, this person is. They're a terrible, awful, you know, terrible person. But I'm willing to see you as the light that you are, the light of truth that you are, and that you are not a body, that you're no more of a body than I'm a body. And so we begin that prayer with, you know, God did not create pedophiles. Therefore, they are not real. I ask to see the truth instead of my dream of people being able to take my innocence from me. For people, I'm asking to see that this is really my belief that people have power over me and can make me do things that I do not want to do. And I'm willing to forgive that. And I'm willing to see myself as well as this other person as the light that they are, for they are spirit, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, innocent and provided for in all ways, free to forgive and free to save the world. I am spirit, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, innocent and provided for in all ways, free to forgive and free to save the world. I ask that the part of my mind that still believes that there could ever be anyone or anything that could ever take something from me or change me in any way, shape, or form now be healed. I place my belief that I could ever be changed or altered in any way, shape, or form, and that anyone could ever have power over me on the altar of love to be changed and transformed. Holy Spirit, my goal is peace. Holy Spirit, I thank you in advance that you will decide and judge about everything for me, and I will let you. Holy Spirit, I thank you in advance that you will undo all of my beliefs about pedophilia. I ask that you will undo all of my wrong decisions about my innocence, about what I am, about who I am, about what I am capable of and what others are capable of. And I will let you. Holy Spirit, I thank you in advance that you will help me to see beyond the body to the truth that lies beyond.
So we're not condoning it, we're forgiving it for ourselves, saying it doesn't exist for our own spirit in our own path, and that nothing was ever taken or because it couldn't be taken and it wasn't real in that form. We're not saying that it doesn't exist. We're saying that, and we're not saying it's not wrong.
Right. We're not saying that it's not
we
wrong.
should fight it in any way that doing, that body part doing. We should fight it in any way we can and prevent it in any way we can. Okay, I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
I can see it now.
We're doing is we're forgiving it for ourselves, so that way we don't see it back in the world.
Right.
And we're not allowing that situation to continue to define who we are as a person. Because if we are choosing to define ourselves by an event that happened, then we're always stuck in that event. We're always stuck in that mindset. And once again, it's not to say that it is right. It's not to say that you shouldn't fight it. But we always want to take steps from after, if the event has already happened, things have already happened. We want to be willing to then say, you know what? I don't want to come from that space of where I was. I want to come from this new space, and I want to speak and act from a place of forgiveness, not a place of victimhood and harm. Because then what service are you truly providing if you are coming from that space? How can you be of service to others who may be going through the same things that you are, if you instead choose to come not from forgiveness, not from a forgiven perspective, but from one of victimhood, one of this is my definition of myself and I can never overcome it, for this is now who and what I am at the deepest level.
Yeah, you can use that forgiveness to empower you to be, to empower them, is
Yes.
what you're saying. Yes. Yeah.
Well, and I
You
think,
can be
being
that
able to forgive the
powerful.
belief.
I know that a lot because it's up in our face right now because of the things that are going on in the world right now, that
Yes.
things that are being covered. We know there's a lot more. This is just the surface
Right.
that's being scratched. There's, and I think Nancy has a question there for you as well. Can somebody read it out because it's really tiny on my
Yeah,
screen?
it's really tiny on my screen as well.
All right, I got it. It says,
Teresa,
Ron,
can
big
you read that
question.
out? Can you
Can
see
you
it?
not hear me?
Oh,
Bex
no, I
has
can
it.
hear you.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
Nancy's question.
Ron, big question. I am hot on the path of a very sweet Asian woman. I adopted a kitten too yesterday that I believe is part of working slavery in 2 Asian restaurants. This man claiming to be your husband was some of the worst tyrant energy I've ever met. I intend to do a surprise visit to check on the kitten.
Can you hear them, Ron?
Yes.
Can you
Oh,
hear?
yes. I can
Oh.
hear. I can hear Bex and I can hear Teresa.
I can't hear either one of them.
Oh,
Figure this out. Okay.
well, Nancy, I think that is absolutely wonderful that you are taking that step. Like, that's a beautiful step. And it's coming from that place of love. And it's coming from that place of, I want to be of service. So I think it is wonderful. And I would invite you because, when it comes to peace, we always do things that are peaceful and compelling. Excuse me, peaceful and compelling for us. But it doesn't mean that we necessarily act in a way that is any different. So if you are going to go confront this person, of course, I always invite you to have, law enforcement on your side, because that way you have not only, your own intuitive feeling to go on, but then you can also prove, and you have law enforcement there to back you up if things begin to go in a sour direction.
That's yeah, I definitely understand how that would be. Oh, don't put me on the full screen. That's rude.
I'm sorry.
Don't do that. You get a little happy there. No, absolutely. I think that, what Ron's saying is right on. Like, if you have that vibe about somebody or a situation, it's important to not ignore it. Trust what you feel, but make sure that you're taking steps the right way, that you also protect yourself. That you're not going into it, just charging ahead and diving in and putting yourself in a precarious situation. You want to make sure that you definitely have some sort of backup, some sort of protection plan, so that you can do it safely. Absolutely. But also, yeah, definitely, Nancy, contacting the local traffickers group would be good. They know how to handle these situations.
Yes.
You
And
know?
that way, if it is in fact something that, is happening, that way they know how to handle it. And they could definitely be of, this could lead to something else, to something
Right.
else, to something else. And, you could be, an integral part of that by finding that. So, absolutely wonderful that you're taking, that beautiful step.
Awesome. Good job, Nancy. Keep us posted. Let us know how it
Yeah.
goes and stay safe.
We'll send our angels with you for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, I think that, I love that how the perspective that you're sharing with us about forgiveness is really about forgiving our own beliefs. It is taking our power back and taking it off of the shoulders of other people, that we seem to see this happen to us, but it's never about what's happening to us. It's about what we're choosing to see, around us. So being able to take that power back and see that, okay, so I've contributed my energy to creating this, and I've contributed my energy to creating this, and I didn't like how these turned out. So instead of forgiving the outside issues, it's forgiving the beliefs that led us to create these things.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Exactly.
So I love that, because it takes it back to us, which is where, again, we need to stop thinking that everything is around us and outside of us. The answers aren't outside of us. Our healing isn't outside of us. Everything we need is within us. Right? So really, it's about coming back to you every single day, every moment that something feels uncomfortable. Come back to you, come back to your center. So I love that so much. So thank you for sharing that with us.
No, you're very welcome. And, it always comes back down to, there's a beautiful line in A Course in Miracles. I am responsible for what I see.
Mhm.
I feel the feelings that I would, let's see if I can get it. It's not going to be exactly right, but it's, I am responsible for what I see. I feel the feelings that I have chosen. Everything that happens to me has happened because I have asked for it. And like I said, I understand completely that that can seem ridiculous. Like, I didn't ask, to be, in a tsunami. I didn't ask
Mhm.
to, have financial forbearance. I didn't ask for any of this. I asked for a peaceful, stable, happy life, and I'm not seeing that. But the reason that you're not seeing it is because there is a belief within you that says, you know what, you're not really worthy of it anyway. So, because if we look at the way, and at least just the way that I look at the world, is that the way our thoughts create reality kind of goes like this. And I like to look at it as like a fun little pyramid. So the bottom is your desire. There's a desire for something, whatever it is. Desire isn't good, desire isn't bad. It simply is a desire. From that desire, there is a belief. And from that belief, there comes thoughts. From those
Mhm.
thoughts come emotions. From those emotions come your perception of reality. So emotion and perception are very close together because usually how we're feeling about something is going to influence how we see something. So let's take, for example, that you have a desire that you really want to get a Ferrari. And you're like, yes, a Ferrari, that's my desire. That's what I want. And you go up and, you have all these fun beliefs like, I can afford one. It's no problem. I can do this. It's effortless. But then there's, back in the back corner, where you hide everything else from, everyone else underneath the steps. There's that one little belief that says, well, you don't really deserve that, number one. Or number two, there could be a belief like, well, people that have Ferraris are real jerks. And you're not a jerk. I don't want to be a jerk. So, you have that belief. And so, you're going out and then you have a thought. You're like, well, I'm not a jerk. And, but a Ferrari's really nice. It looks real good. And then let's say, you know, you then have an experience where you get to see someone in a Ferrari and it's the exact color that you want. It's orange. It's beautiful. It looks great. And they throw a cigarette outside their door. And you're like, see, there it is.
Mhm.
People that own Ferraris, they're jerks. And it's all because you have that one belief. And that's why you will never, ever get a Ferrari, because you still have that hidden belief that you haven't looked at that needs your forgiveness to open the way for that Ferrari to come with to you if it is from your heart's desire.
Yeah. All right. That's perfect. Absolutely. Cindy's going into more of her. Okay, it says, okay, going to be struggling with this. If a child experienced this, their body, which is real, felt it, their little mind suffered that reality. I can fully understand how one would want to move out of victimhood. However, to adopt the mindset that one is not a body, the offender is not a body, etc., forgiving the belief that one was being abused, please clarify.
So it's not to say, when I say I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. What I am simply doing is I am saying to myself, to my own mind, that I am not strictly just a body. That's not the truth of who I am. And that's not the truth of who that other person is either. And I can totally understand where that comes from. Well, what do you mean that you're not a body? My body felt it. Yes, not denying that, not denying that it wasn't felt, not denying that it wasn't a terrible experience. But what we are denying is that that experience, that is all that you are. That we are denying that you are just a body. Because if we are just bodies, then everything that happens to us, that we perceive happens to us, then that means we're not immortal. That means that we are not a spark of the divine. That means that we are basically here to live and die, which isn't the truth. Not at all. What we are here to do is we are here to live and remember what we truly are at every given point in time. That's all that we're here to do. We're here remembering the truth of who we are. And so it's not to say that the incident didn't happen. It's not to say that it was not traumatic, but it is to say that that event is not going to define the truth of who you are any more than if a bee stings you. And I know that's, very crazy to think about. And I know it, and I'm not trying to dissuade what happened to anyone at all, because it is very real for you. And I'm not saying that it's not, but we're saying that it's not going to define the truth of who you are. In your forgiveness, what you are doing is you are forgiving the belief that you are just a body. You are forgiving the belief that any other body can do things to you against your will. The reason that we do that is to then subvert any other belief that that may happen in our lives. Because if it continues and we continue to believe that, we are victims, that we are just bodies, that there is nothing else to us, that we are simply flesh and blood and nothing more, and that we live and then we just die and that's it, then yes, we have every reason to be in despair. But thank goodness that we are so much more.
Right.
So
I think
it sort of goes with, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to
Bex.
say, I think the important thing is that, yes, a child doesn't have the awareness and understanding obviously there's a detachment from the body in those moments, a complete disassociation. But to help a child to be able to move through that and to understand it from a more healing place is to help reinstate those feelings of empowerment in them, help them to remember how strong they are, how beautiful they are, how whole and complete they are, that nobody can ever take anything from them. And if you're an adult who's experienced that, then having those conversations with your inner child is so important to bring those pieces back to you. And that's where your forgiveness comes from. It's not from saying, but what about the pain and suffering? Of course, that's absolutely, everybody can completely understand the pain and suffering that a person goes through when they experience something so traumatic. But to help them remember and regain the footing in who they are and understanding that they are whole and complete, they are safe and protected, that nothing can happen to them that can take that away from them. That's where you can really start to move through and have a better foot forward in your healing process.
No, exactly. And I think that was beautifully put. And I think you did it 10 times better than how I explained it.
Yeah, it's really like that saying, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And all those things, whether it's a bee sting or sexual abuse or, just
broken
having
bone,
broken bone, all that
Yeah.
trauma makes us, it goes in our little experience capsule and it makes us who we are and makes us stronger, but it doesn't define us. That moment doesn't define us. It's, I think it's like in the palette of life or whatever. So, cool. Okay. Cindy says, gotcha. Forgiving the belief that we are defined by that.
Right.
I'm on the
Always.
same page now, she says. So, great.
Wonderful.
Great. Awesome. Okay.
And forgiveness
Teresa, have you got a
can
question?
be really, it can be crazy. It can
Yeah.
seem, like the hardest thing in the world to do, because society tells us that we should be defined by what we have and what has happened to us. But what we are learning is that that's not the truth. We are already defined, and we are defined by the divine essence, which gave creation to us and gave us the ability to create. And that is what we are truly defined by. Everything else here, like I said, it's a dream and it's an illusion. I'm not, and this may get a little meta for people, but I'm not real. I know I'm not real. And I know, like I said, it can be a little meta for people, but I realize that I am a dream figure in all of your dreams. That's all that I am. I'm not Ron Schaefer. I'm not a spiritual teacher. I'm not a spiritual coach. I'm not a miracle mindset coach. I'm not this, I'm not that. Those are all labels. Those are all titles. But that's not the truth of who I am. Nor is it the truth of who anyone else is. That what you're seeing right now is maybe for you, I represent a belief that, there's another way of seeing the world. Maybe for you, I represent the belief in crazy cuckoo people. Like it doesn't really matter what I represent to you, but just realize that I'm a representation of something for you. I'm just a dream figure. And all I'm doing is really reading off the script that you have given to me. And I may not, it's not like I have an actual script in front of me, but you have a belief on what it is that I should do, say, and act like and behave like. And all I'm doing is going by that script. And like I said, I know that's real meta, but just that's something that wanted to come through.
It works though, because ever since we had our pre-show meeting and you mentioned that, you know, the whole I am not a healer, like we keep trying to claim that we are healers, but we are actually channels for the healing to come through. And I've been using that since we talked about it, and the healing energy that I am now working with, that's working through me, is stronger than when I was trying so hard to claim that I'm a healer. You know, and I think that's the important part, is that if we stop trying to attach to everything and just be the vessel through which it comes, it's stronger, more powerful, more aligned, more divine, and we could stop getting in the way of it.
Exactly. So we just have to forgive the belief that we are any of the titles that we have given ourselves in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Do you have any questions, T?
Well, well, I don't know how to put this as a question. Okay. I've been working really hard on forgiving some of the issues between me and my mother, and I felt like I've done it really well. Of course, right? I got this. But how do I know that I really have? Because I still don't want to hang around her, right?
And
Her
there,
life
right
is
there,
her life. Is that where
what
it
you
is?
just said.
Because
What you
she's
just
not,
said.
she still abuses. She still does what she does. So why would I want to put myself around it? I want to set a boundary. But that's where, is that where I still need to work on? How would I move from that?
What it is that the way you know you have forgiven something is that it is healed. It's
Okay.
healed. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's, you have to be around this person or you have to continuously be around them. But it does mean that the script that you have written begins to be different. And they begin to shift. And it's not because you have healed them. It's because you've healed your mind about them. So there's still somewhere in your mind that you're saying, well, no, my mom is still an abuser. That's who she is as a person. So that's where she's always going to be. That's how she's always going to act. And since you still have that belief, even though you have, you've worked on it. And like I said, there's going to be something inside of you that is most likely holding on to the belief or the pattern of people can't change. Even though you want them to change. And once again, it's not about her changing to suit you.
Right.
And that's also a really big thing. I remember when I first started forgiveness, it actually took me 3 months to actually get to true forgiveness. Both my dad and my brother, not super supportive of my career path or what I do. They never really were. And so I really wanted to forgive them. I was like, you know what? I just need to be willing to forgive them. And so it took me 3 months of really practicing that on a continuous basis. And then one day I was in my room. I was feeling really down about myself. I just I didn't feel like I had enough clients. I didn't feel like I was doing enough. And, I had a conversation with a friend and, it kind of helped me, but I was still just not feeling good about myself. And I come out of my room. And my dad is not a religious person, nor is he a spiritual person. And I come out of my room and there is a note on the desk or on the countertop in the kitchen. And it says, Spirit never gives you what you want, but it will always give you what you need. And I was like, who wrote me this beautiful note? Who is this? Who did this? And then it was my dad's handwriting, but it had been never anything that he had ever said to me. Wow. And then the next day he's like, hey, do you need any help with your taxes? And I was like, what? Why are you being so helpful? Why are you talking to me? This is weird. And then, my brother, then he calls and he's like, hey, I need a reading. And I was like, ha, ha, ha. Okay, what do you want? He's like, no, I need a reading. And I was like, ha, ha. What do you want? He's like, no, I really want a reading. He's like, I have to move and I don't know where to move to and I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to do it. And I was like, oh my God, like you actually want a reading? Oh my God. Okay. Being like, I need to get my cards. Hold on. Let me tune in. Let me do all this stuff. And so, then I gave him the reading and he was like, okay, thanks. I appreciate it. I was like, you're welcome. Like, that's weird. But that's, that was a shift and a change. Another one, my sister's boyfriend basically made fun of me whenever he came over. He's like, oh, how you doing, Miss Cleo? And I was like, oh, okay. Okay. And just trying to be respectful and nice and to him and, to my sister. And so I was like, okay, I have to forgive this. And so that also took a good 3 months of doing. But then what do you know? He showed up one day and he was like, so how's business? And I was like, oh, it's going good. And I thought, oh, he was going to be like, oh, business is good, Miss Cleo, blah, 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 or, something else. And he was like, oh, that's good. And he's like, he's like, you're really doing well. And I was like, yeah, I am. He's like, good for you. And I was like, okay, thank you so much. Like, I appreciate it. But I had to remember that, he was never the forgiveness that I had to do. Everything that he was saying were things that I believe.
Right.
That's why they were hurting. Another beautiful example of that is I was sitting on my bed and I didn't have a lot of clients. And I thought all I do is sit on my bed all day and meditate or try to like post things. And I just feel like a waste of space. My 15-year-old, at that point, 15-year-old sister comes in my room, open the door. Is all you do sit on your bed all day? That must be nice. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was just like, who do you think you are? You don't know anything. And then I realized, I was like, oh my God. I was like, what she said was exactly what I was just thinking. She's only reflecting back to me what I believe about myself. And that's when everything shifted. Everything changed for me in that moment when I began to see that whatever someone says that hurts me is because really it's something I believe about myself. It may not be a conscious thought. It may be something subconscious, but somewhere inside of me, I believe it. So with my sister's boyfriend, some part of me believed that I didn't really believe in what I did. So that's where he was. The belief that my brother and my dad wouldn't support me. I wasn't supporting me. I didn't believe in me. So no one else is going to believe in me for me. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's going to be people who represent the opposite because some part of me believed in myself. And then, when it came to my sister, she just reflected that to me. And the other thing that was really beautiful was there was another belief that men could not be supportive of a spiritual business. Mm-hmm. There was another really big belief there that I had to forgive. So, as you forgive, you see these other underlying beliefs that are there. I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There are still things in which I have to forgive and I have to let go of. But I do it on a consistent basis. And that's what causes the shifts. Because I'm willing to continue to invite the healing, knowing that I am not the healer. I'm not the one to do it. I'm simply stating what I wish to happen or what I would like to happen. Spirit, heal this. I'm not the healer. I don't know how to do it. So heal it for me. And it will. But I have to be willing to give every part of it away. And that's why it took me 3 months. Because there were some parts I was like, no, they're mean. Like, that's it. You're mean. Right. I don't want to. That's it. You're a mean person. You're never supporting me. You'll never support me. I had to let go of that and let spirit show me the truth that that they will support me.
Yeah, that's so true. On the mother thing, because I can totally relate. I think that the most important thing we can recognize is that when we stop needing them to show up in our lives that way, we can support and love ourselves the way that we deserve and the way we need. And when we stop expecting to get it from somebody else, especially like a mother or a father or somebody close, we can see that shift from them, where it transitions. We don't need them to show up and show us how unlovable we are anymore because we've loved ourselves so much that they can't possibly show up that way for us anymore. It doesn't resonate with us, right? So when you start to really love yourself and start to say, okay, I don't need that lesson anymore. I don't need that pain and suffering anymore. I know that this was always about me learning how to love myself. Yes. You'll see that you'll be able to show up for them in a way that holds space for their, evolution as well. And you'll connect with them differently because you're not showing up with that vibe of like, okay, here we go. we're going to throw down like it's happening. You know, I'm ready. I'm defensive. You're going to show up and just be like, this is who I am. I love me, you know, and I'm giving you the experience to connect with that love as well. You know, it just shifts everything. So you have to remember that anytime you have a lack of something in your life, it's because you've asked for that lack to be there so you can learn how to have an abundance of it.
One, lack is just a belief. That's all it is.
Okay.
And we have to remember that when I talk about releasing or giving up, you're giving up nothing to have everything. What is the nothing? The nothing that you're giving up is the illusion that you could be anything less than the truth of who you are, which is the holy, abundant child, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world. So you are letting go of the nothingness of that belief because it has no real power. It only has the power that you give it. Absolutely. Anything, everyone only has power if you give it power. No one else has any power unless you give it over to them.
Absolutely. Whew, this is so good. This has been a really, really beautiful, powerful, almost 45 minutes together. It's been amazing. Seriously. So many shifts just in everything right now. I'm losing words because I'm just absolutely soaking it all in and appreciating you so much, Ron. You know, you got handled tough stuff for this one, but you handled it really well. And, you know, we appreciate and respect that so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share this with you. And, you know, Rhonda, I thank you so much. You said a tough question and you were not kidding. And I will always remember what Spirit told me one day when I was talking to someone who I thought was true. I was like, I can't help. I don't know what to do here. And Spirit told me, you have a depth. I don't. And so as soon as you asked that question, I just said, Spirit, you need to take it from here.
Absolutely. It's funny because Nancy said, I'm hearing Jesus take the wheel. So obviously that's the theme for today. Surrender it up and let it be handled. Just, you have to give permission. You know, when you say take it, you got to say, I allow it, like Ron said, because otherwise you're still trying to have control.
Yes.
You can't have that tug of war with Spirit. It's not going to work out.
Because Spirit will always let go and say, okay, you want it. It's yours.
Exactly. And that's why we're here. That's exactly it, is to learn how to align, surrender, be, you know, that's important to be able to just be in that space. Yes, Shirley, there is a replay available. Always. As soon as we're done, it'll be available for you to watch. Go ahead, Rhonda.
Yeah. And on YouTube as well. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm having technical issues again today. This is my technical. I can hardly wait till I can get back to work and use my work studio. No, we really appreciate it. Teresa, you can ask Ron the really hard question. The music question.
Oh, wait. Well, let me get the right picture. Okay, sorry, I was all confused. Okay, Ron.
I still can't hear Teresa, so go ahead, Teresa.
I'll speak slowly. No. Ron, music is a great catalyst between people, and it helps us to learn a lot about each other sometimes. And so the question that Bex has been asking for so many months now, that helps us to get to know our guest in an intimate more way, is if there was a theme song, like you're walking out on stage and they're playing your theme song as you walk up, what would that song be?
It's from Oliver and Company. The streets are paved with gold.
I love that. Oh, that's such a good movie. Now I'm going to go watch it.
And it's a beautiful song because there's beautiful symbolism in it. Yeah. And the thing that I resonate most of all with that song is that the streets are paved with gold and that you are never alone. Spirit is always there for you. And, you know, we do have a lot to learn about the truth of who we are. And we are always learning and uncovering more and more of the divinity that we are. But know that the streets, no matter where you go, no matter where you walk, they are paved with gold because of what you are. Not because of who you think you are, but because of what you are. You leave golden footprints wherever you go.
Ooh, perfect. So beautiful.
I love it.
Awesome.
So good. All right. So I think that's it. I think I just have to give one announcement, which the winner of last week's Share It Out, who won a session with me, is Sifu Boggy. So congratulations, Sifu Boggy. I will contact you to get that set up and share this out so you can win. Whoever shares out the most this week will be announced next Sunday, and they will win a reading with Teresa. So guys, make sure you share this out. I will not be here the next 2 Sundays, so I will see you guys in a few weeks. I'm going on vacation. Yay! I will do a safe COVID-safe vacation, but I will be with family, so it's okay. But I will miss you guys, and thank you all for letting us be in your dream, the representation of whatever we are in your dream. Thank you for showing up, and Ron, thank you for being a placeholder in our dreams.
My pleasure.
It's been amazing, and we will definitely have you back. And just so you guys know, Ron will be a guest host next week, right?
Yeah.
Who do we have next week for our guest?
Rhonda.
Can she not hear me? Teresa, do you know who the guest is?
Well, I left my book in the other room. Was it the Christina?
Our guest is Christine Alicia next
there
week.
it is. Okay. Yep.
And our
perfect.
special guest host
is Ron. Yes, we said that. So we will.
Ron.
You guys, I will be sending you all love. I will try to watch if I can. But yeah, you guys get to hang out with these 3 amazing people and our guests. So have a beautiful, blessed week, and we love you all very much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.